Okay, so sit yourself on your left and then just come into a good cross-legged position. So just wriggle about until you feel that you are level. Sometimes it's good to just roll over, move the buttock flesh out to the side. Just hold on to your knees, lift and open your chest, and then draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Just spend a few moments looking at something that doesn't move. Just observe how your body accommodates the breath. So that's been the focus of our practice over the last week or so, observing how the body accommodates the breath. And then later, as we develop into the session, perhaps we start to observe how the breath accommodates the body. But just feel how maybe there is resistance to the in-breath to a degree at the top of the in-breath. So just feel where that resistance is and just let it be free. Bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms together. Close your eyes. And then continue to observe the inhalation and the exhalation. Aiming to make the inhalation as non-resistant as you can. Very gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then gently lower your arms. Release the backs of the hands down onto the knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to gently open. Just hold on to your knees for a moment. Lift and open the chest, drive the spine upwards. Just continue to focus on the deeper inhalations and exhalations. Feeling how the chest rises upwards and outwards to accommodate the breath. And then with the next exhalation, turn to the right side. Come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift and open your chest, drive your spine upwards. And with an exhalation, turn to the left, maintaining that observation of the way that the body accommodates the breath. Using the out breath to move more deeply into the pose. And then come back to the center. We're just going to do a little anulom vilom, which is alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to have your hand on your on your forehead to start off with, but then you're going to bring your hand down so that the thumb can press into the right nostril and your index finger can close the left nostril, and then you can just kind of balance yourself with your ring finger on your left temple. So alternate nostril breathing works. So the first breath, so you take a deep inhalation and then an exhalation, and then you close the right nostril and then take an in breath. And then before you breathe out, you close the left nostril with the index finger, and then breathe out through the right nostril and then in through the right nostril. And then swap the nostril, breathe out through the left nostril, in through the left nostril, and then you continue in that way. So you breathe out and then in through the one nostril and then swap over. So we'll do a couple of rounds of that. Let the breath be relatively forceful, not too. We're not trying to push too hard, just reasonably forceful. So just normal breathing to start off with. Just take a good deep inhalation, then an exhalation, and then cover the right nostril and then inhale through the left. Cover the left nostril, exhale out the right, and then inhale through the right. Cover the right. So in your own rate. And then release with an exhalation. And then go back to normal breathing. So just to complement that, We can do a little bit of brahmari to start. So brahmari, remember, is the normal inhalation in through the nose and then the hummed exhalation until the lungs feel empty. So we're going to accompany that with Sanmukhi Mudra. And Sanmukhi Mudra is where you rest the index finger on top of, the middle finger on top of the eyelid, the index finger sitting on top of the middle finger, and then the tip of the ring finger just touches the kind of very bridge of the nose, and you're going to just gently close or kind of partially close the nostril, and then you bring your thumbs in. The little finger stays attached to the ring finger, and then you press your thumbs into the ear to close the flap of the ear. Remember, you're not trying to press into the eyes. You're just trying to keep the eyes, the dark out of your eyes. So just a normal breathing to start off with. So hopefully you can still hear me. So just normal inhalations, exhalations for a moment. So not closing the nostrils quite yet, but you can continue with Sanmukhi Mudra. And then just close the nostrils. Take a normal exhalation, partially close the nostrils, and then inhale and then hum the out breath. And then finish the cycle that you are on, release Sanmukhi Mudra. And then just come back to just a seated position. Just hold onto your knees, lift and open the chest. Just draw the breath in through the nose. Just listening to the sound of the breath. And then come off your left and then come forwards into adhu muka virasana. So rest and then keeping connection between the seat bones and the heels, come forwards, wriggle into the hips. Just continue to observe the breath as you come forwards and down. Come up onto your knees, maintain that focus with the breath. Come up into dog down. From here, incorporate the apanic breath. Breathe in from the perineum to the collarbone with the inhalation. And from the collarbone down to the perineum with the exhalation. Dog down is an excellent conduit for pranayama. From holding you too long in the pose, then rest. Go back down into adhu mukha svanasana. If you can stay and maintain, though, do. Okay, step forwards, come up into standing position, and then have some blocks for your hands. And just come into half uttanasana. Have your feet as wide apart as your mat, turning your toes inwards. Raise your arms up, bhastrika to start off with. So continue with the apanic breath. So the apanic breath starts at the perineum and then raises up to the collarbone. And the out breath goes down from the collarbone all the way back down to the perineum. So you could say the perineum is kind of where the tailbone roughly is, just slightly forward of that. And then on an out breath, come forward. Keeping the arms lifted, coming forward slowly, as though you're kind of gliding through oil. And then reach down, find the blocks. Activate your legs. Activate the breath. Again, this pose is a really good conduit for the breath. It's a really good conduit for apanic breathing. If you can go down lower, then do. Remember just to stay higher up if you're protecting your back. If you can come all the way to the floor without losing the lift of the legs or the extension of the spine, then do that. Just keeping your legs straight, so tightening those kneecaps, Andrew, lifting the kneecaps, lifting the thigh muscles, pushing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Go down any lower, then bend your elbows out to the side, reach around the backs of your heels, and draw yourself down. Keep the front chest long, keep the legs straight. Keep the apanic breath active. Notice how the exhalation allows you to move more deeply into the pose. Just bring your hands back to the center point. And then bring your hands into your hips. Bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. Just be in Tadasana. Just lift and open the chest. Maintain the apanic breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide. And jump the feet apart on an in-breath. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out. Maintaining the action of the apanic breath. So we're not really going to focus so much on the technicalities of the pose, just the breath. So set the feet up as you need them to. And then come over and find the shin. Look down rather than up. Focus on the apanic breath. Especially on the out breath, on the end of the out breath. Find your alignment, work against resistance using that end of the out breath. It's a powerful part of the breath. And then come up on an in-breath. Swap your legs around. Go down on an in-breath. So more typically we go down on an out breath, but sometimes it's good to just vary that and see what the difference, if you can feel the difference. There is a difference. Observe it. Come up on an in-breath, bring the feet parallel and then step or jump the feet back together and then come back into Tadasana. Just be back in Tadasana and reset the apana breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Step or jump the feet as wide as you can go. Align the back edge of your heels with the edge of your mat if you can. And then turn the toes in. Bring your hands into the hips. Lift the legs up into the hips, up into the chest. Straightening those legs, turning the toes inwards and then come forwards, hinging at the hips. Lift and open the chest. Prasarita, padottanasana. Just turn your toes in a little bit more. Tighten the kneecaps, hit the thigh muscles up into the hip socket. And breathe apanically. If you can, go down and bring your head down onto the floor, or just stay at the first stage. Whichever version you stay with, maintain the apanic breath. Lift your head, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and then just gently step your feet or jump your feet back together and then come up into Tadasana. And then raise your arms for Urdhva Hastasana. come down onto your knees, your hands shoulder width apart, step your feet back a little, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Just observe how your dog down feels different. And then observe and activate both the body and the breath. So going back to the apanic breath. And then come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels, and then just observe the clarity of the breath, the clarity of the sinuses, and then come forwards into adhu muka virasana. And then when you're ready, just sit yourself back up on your heels, and then just come into a cross-legged, no, actually, not cross-legs, not yet. Come onto your front. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, so the fingertips are underneath your shoulders for bhujangasana. Lengthen into the toes. Tadasanarise your legs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. That will generally stop you from kind of clenching the buttocks in bhujangasana. So turn the backs of the thighs outwards a little. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, lift the kneecaps. And then you keep the pelvis down on the floor as you push yourself up. Keep the elbows bent if need be, or you can straighten them if you can, but keep the pelvis down, keep the shoulders away from your ears. There's no problem with your neck. Draw your chin up towards the ceiling and breathe apanically. And then gently bring yourself down. Rest your head on one side. Rest your arms along the floor. along the sides of the body, and just release into the floor. And then one more time, stretching the legs away. If you're not doing bhujangasana, then you can do supta padottanasana. Come up, activating the legs, keeping the pelvis down on the floor, lifting the front chest, breathing. And then bring yourself down, just rest down, rest your head on the other side, just release into the floor. Completely let go. And then sit back on your heels, stretch forwards in adhu, muka, virasana. And then sit back on your heels. Raise your arms over your head. So sit in virasana, back on the heels. Raise your arms and then turn to the right side. And then come back to the center. And then turn to the left. And then come back to the center. Release your arms, interlock the fingers, the unnatural weight, turn the palms all the way out. Again, working as you turn right, working with the apanic breath. Come back to the center, and then with an apanic exhalation to the left. And then come back to the center. And then just come down onto your back for supta padottanasana. So we're going to do supta padottanasana, but we're going to do a little bit of brahmari, pranayama in supta padottanasana. So just rest your hands on your lower ribs, just so that you get that feeling of resonance. Support your hips if you need to. We're putting blocks underneath the thighs. And then just spend a little time just observing the breath. So brahmari is the hummed out breath, normal in breath. So this time we'll do it without Sanmukhi mudra. I just want you to hold on to your ribcage so you can feel its resonance as you exhale. So a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation. And then another normal inhalation, and then we'll begin. We'll do several rounds. observing the expansion and contraction of the chest as you work. Okay, and then bring the breath back to a normal rhythm. Draw your knees together, have your knees together, your feet apart for a moment, just to rest out the hips. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then just rock yourself up into a seated position, just a final cross-leg position. So find a comfortable cross legs. So we're just going to do a little bit of bhastrika, pranayama, and bhastrika is literally it translates as the bellows, literally. So when you kind of ironmongers, when they've got those they've got bellows pushing air into the fire, there's a really forceful exhalation as you kind of push outwards, and then it really draws in the air really, really forcefully. It's the same thing with bhastrika. So we start with the normal exhalation, and then I'll show you one bhastrika. So it's normal breath to start off with. Then you start with an inhalation and then a normal exhalation. So that's one bhastrika. We're going to do 4 of those first of all, and then just normal breathing. So just normal. If this makes you feel dizzy, then just ease it off and just do normal breathing. So normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Take a normal exhalation and then a round of bhastrika. So 4 of those. And then just normal breathing. I think that was 4. I think I lost count. So at the top, so just normal breathing at the moment. So at the top of the in-breath, you can gently retain that breath and incorporate Mula Bandha just for a couple of seconds, and then release Mula Bandha and then exhale forcefully. So you inhale and then retain the breath at the top of the breath. And then exhale. If that feels too strong, it could make you feel a little dizzy, then just do it without the retention. So just normal inhalation, normal exhalation. I'll keep proper count this time. So 4 bhastrikas with retention. So normal exhalation, and then and then again, normal breath. So we get lots of oxygen into the brain, oxygen into the sinuses. With that in-breath, you can really focus on that udanic breath into the sinuses. Just a normal inhalation, normal exhalation, and then another round. And then just normal breathing. Just normal breath. And just for the purposes of time, we'll just leave it at 3 bhastrikas. Just release your knees and then get your blanket for your head, and we'll just go down into shavasana. Just lay yourself in a really good straight line. Make sure you're in a really good straight line, supporting the back of the neck and the head with your blanket. And then allow yourself to release into the floor. Just normal breathing. Let the arms release. Let the legs release. Allow the body to become heavy on the floor. Observe your energy that rises to the top of the skin. So it may not be where you expect it to be in the feet, in the hands, in the arms, in the legs, in the chest, in the hips, in the neck, head, wherever you observe it. Distribute that feeling of lightness evenly throughout the body using the breath. Just breathing evenly and deeply. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. When you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side, just giving yourself a grounding massage on the spine. And then gently roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then when you're ready, straighten out the top leg. Bring yourself up into seated position. And then come up into cross leg position with the hands in the Namaste, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath down into the abdomen, the samanic breath. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy, that the extensions, the forward bends, the twists, the breath work bring to the body and to the mind. And then gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to observe and to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have just kind of emerged your energy and giving yourself some good energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.